I'm going to point out the flaws in Enes's modern barn mansion video. So if you decide to design, build, or buy your mansion, you won't make the same mistakes. Let's watch this together.
The natural beauty and the history were almost overwhelming. And immediately you start thinking as a designer, how am I going to make this tangible? The main structure would have to be set back from the river just right so that views and the sound experience would be adequate. And on the other side, it would relate to the two existing barns right next to it. These two thoughts defined the volume and the inspiration for the house.
Did you hear what he just said? These two elements that he just mentioned had a huge impact on this property. The first he mentioned was the proximity to the river, so you could hear the sound of the river from everywhere. So they basically picked a site based on how well you could hear the sound of the river. This is a humongous property, and this river has like 3 forks. It goes all over the place. There's so many other areas, flat areas, where you could have built this, modern farmhouse where you would have been able to hear the actual sound of the river. But the other thing which is really surprising, they decided the volume and the width and the height of this structure based on the original barns that are on the property. And that's also very strange, because you could have told a whole nother story. You had a chance to write a new chapter, to tell a new story at another location, and you were completely free. You see, these tiny little elements that get decided most of the time by the architects, a lot of times architects, they're idealists, a lot of them, okay? And they have these ideas and they get really tied up. They get kinky with these ideas, and they're like, oh, the sound of the river. They're literally looking for inspiration, and they lose the whole picture. At sometimes you gotta be pragmatic.
And those little decisions add up to really bring the home close to nature.
Or these little decisions force your hand to get stuck with a design and an architectural style and layout and all these decisions that, kind of cascade to things that are going to impact your life when you're living there, or the problems you're going to face in selling the house in the future.
Timeless architecture and beautiful landscapes inspire us to travel across the world. And that's why we came to upstate New York to show you something truly one of a kind.
See, this is what I'm talking about, okay? You have 3 massive structures right next to each other.
Now let's talk about what's in front of us. Barn-inspired contemporary home.
Yes, this is a barn silo on the side, inspired, but this is such a buzzkill. You had this beautiful approach, you had this beautiful driveway. Why do you have to enter from the garage? You could have had a horseshoe motor court that just drops you off by the front door, so your guests or the people potentially wanting to buy this property would enter the property through the great room where you've spent a lot of time and money to create that wow factor. No, you have to enter through the garage. Huge mistake. Huge mistake.
So the main home is located right in the center of this amazing property. Before we go in there, I want to show everyone our views. Look at these rolling grounds. They're so lush and green. There's actually a bridge right there going over the river.
This is where I think they should have built the house. You see, across the bridge over here, you see all that flat area? It's also just on the other side of the river. Would have made a perfectly normal place to build a house, tell a different story, right? Not compete with your own structure, still get the sound of the river. Just such a silly mistake.
And coming back to the house, barn-inspired contemporary home.
This is a horrible angle to look at the property. I mean, maybe that's why they didn't put a driveway, because afterwards they were like, no one should see the property from this angle. It looks like a warehouse in Manhattan, right? It doesn't give any barn house vibe to me at all. At least from the parking space coming in, you saw that round element that kind of looked like a silo, but it really didn't. From this angle, I would give this facade a 2 out of 10. It's horrible. It's really ugly. It doesn't make sense.
Now coming to the entry, this section is covered. Your pivot door opens up to your mudroom. Come on in. Beautiful dark tones.
I'm digging this. I like this rustic look. This is what I'm expecting to see in a modern barn house, that you still keep these elements, but you modernize it. So far, so good.
Before we go into the main volume, there's actually a powder bathroom that I want to show to everyone. Gorgeous custom marble sink. Again, a lot of these darker tones with wood paneling on the walls, exposed beams, beautiful fixtures.
I agree. It's beautiful. It's what you would expect, right? So it's like the structure is very barn, but then the fixtures are modern, creates that little contrast, and it works. I like it so far.
Coming back to this side, we have the staircase taking us to the upstairs loft and the primary bedroom. But first, I want to bring everybody down to the main volume where we have the seating area and the dining area.
Wait a minute. Is it a split level home? Think about it. We just didn't even enter from either one of the spaces. We entered halfway through. And this is supposed to be your wow factor. It wasn't level to the main formal living space, okay?
All these grid windows above. Then we have casement windows and French doors opening up to the outdoors. Wall sconces.
My first impression is it looks like a overexposed photo. Why is everything white? I get it, you want to go with modern, but you've already put so many freaking windows. You get natural light coming from freaking, the moon. You didn't have to go all out, all bleach the natural wood. And again, I'm still fighting between this like stacked stone for a modern barn house. I think a very easy type of a stone would have been river stone, the round ones. I think they're very beautiful and they would have really contrasted well.
This room is 21 feet wide, 26 feet tall.
Do you know what the proper range for a room height to width ratio is? It's 1.5 to 2 width to height. This is completely the opposite. To me, it looks way too tall, way too cathedral. It doesn't have the width to back it up. It makes the structure look obnoxious, but apparently the architect wanted to make sure it matches the height of the other barns, so decided to go super tall. I don't think it was necessary to go this tall.
Wood burning fireplace, and we have it on right now. This is so tasteful. This space is so warm.
I don't think it's warm. I think it's washed out. I like the furniture though. I mean, their taste in furniture is exquisite, no doubt.
This is a beautiful room, but something that I don't think the cameras can really convey is just the sense of peace and tranquility in this house.
See, it looks much better from the outside, right? It's not so washed out. From the inside, it looks way more washed out.
You can cook here. You just hang your pot above the fire, and that's that.
I don't know, man. Like maybe marshmallows, but I'm not cooking Persian food over here. Sorry.
We have all these windows, French doors, bringing so much natural light. I feel like this house is a perfect mix between a rustic barn house and a contemporary home.
Yeah, it's like a contemporary mid-century home. But did you spot the flaw? I don't think this room would actually ever get used because it doesn't connect to anything else. Because it's narrow, you had to put the kitchen at the end of it. And guess where everyone's gonna hang out? In the kitchen. No one's going to come over hang out here. That's why if I was consulting on this deal in the pre-design phase, I would have convinced my clients to go with a modern but a classic shape of a barn house. You either go with the Dutch colonial style where you kind of the roof takes breaks, or the barn shape where it has siders on each side, right? That way you could have tucked in the kitchen by the side, and that would have gave a lot more utility to the formal living space, because this is a weekend home. You want it to be all connected. You want to have parties, you want to have family parties, you want to have friends over. You want the house to look crowded. Everyone is hanging out with each other, and you're using the best part of the house.
So the main house features 4 bedrooms, 4 full 1/2 baths. It's 7,500 square feet. The entire property is 127 acres, on the market for $25 million.
So the main structure, as big as it looks like, it's smaller than many of your houses. It's only a 4-bedroom, right? And the whole house is only 7,500 square feet. But what's really impressive is the acreage. I think the land is absolutely gorgeous. But as far as the price goes, it's now listed for $22.5 million. And it hasn't sold. Now you're thinking, Arvin, is it because your website zipsmart.ai has a sell signal on the zip code? How did you know? The market over here is not good. We do have a sell signal.
I want to take everybody outside so we can check out the grounds for a second. Come on out. This space is absolutely gorgeous. Now let's go to the other side where we have the covered area.
Is there a huge drop over here? It's kind of dangerous for kids to fall over.
You have your granite countertop, your outdoor kitchen on this side with a grill, smoker, fridge, dishwasher, everything you need. And the way this outdoor kitchen is positioned is actually really nice because you have your French doors. Let's see.
Okay, before we go inside the kitchen, I want to say I really like this outdoor space. It was vast. It was really good for parties. Had a lot of great built-ins. Overall, I think it was fantastic. But I don't think it was necessary for it to be perched up. Because first, I couldn't see the pool because it was perched up. And then the trees were blocking the river where I couldn't see the river either. So there was no reason to be perched up.
Opening right back to your main kitchen. I really like the rustic approach when it comes to the design of this kitchen. We don't really have a lot of upper cabinets.
Did you notice the big change in this room? Isn't it so much warmer? Do you know why? You didn't get the wood beams, but you got the wood cabinets, which really softened the look. Do you notice it? How much more like natural looking this room is as to the formal space? It's already, to me, a lot more inviting.
Island is on this side with a beautiful walnut countertop. They also incorporated these metal trims throughout the island. And right in the center of this island, we have an Aga gas stove and oven. And it really matches the farmhouse aesthetics that this kitchen is going for.
I love this kitchen. I think it's beautiful. It's what I would expect in a barn house, modern barn house. If the weather is bad, everyone's going to be in the kitchen. Everyone's going to hang out over here.
We have a chef's pantry here. It obviously comes with a lot of cabinetry space. We have the built-in fridge, freezer, and wine fridge on this side. Cutting block.
Chopping block?
Doesn't this look like the vault in gymnastic when you run, you jump in and then you do a flip on it? Okay, I love this space. I really like how internally this, silo looking thing worked out, because on the exterior, it wasn't doing anything for me. I didn't like the approach they took to modernize the farmhouse, but at least internally, it brings a lot of natural in. It looks cozy, it looks open, and it fits right in. A perfect place to put the, chef's kitchen.
Now let's go downstairs so we can check out the guest suites. We have the staircase here, stacked stone on the back, windows bringing natural light. These double doors open up to your gym or your yoga studio. And on the other side is the second entry of this property, or technically the winter entry, because this is the location that we pulled up. It's basically your driveway.
It's the problem. Your guests, your people you're showing their property are coming in, and the first thing they see is the yoga room. I don't want a yoga room. Show me the great room.
Follow me this way. We have 3 guest suites on this wing. This is the first one. Let's cover the bathroom area. It's basically open. You have your built-in cabinetry here, separate water closet, beautiful walnut vanity.
I like the finishes. Again, I really like this Jerusalem stone they've used. It's very natural, easy palette. They didn't bring too many materials in. Again, I think the choice of finishes, the furniture are so far excellent. I really, really like that.
I really like these bathrooms.
They're not over the top. They're all natural stone.
Yeah, but there's something very European about them too. I feel like it has like a very 𝗕𝗏𝗃 almost aesthetic to the design,
So not 𝗕𝗏𝗃, dude. Come on.
You have beautiful hardwood floors. You have your king-size bed on this side. And this is the room.
What a beautiful room. How soft toned, well spaced, beautiful room. And what I love the most about it is how it opens up to the backyard. To me, that close proximity with the lawn for a weekend home is an absolute must.
Faces the grounds. You have your French doors opening up. Literally, Ladybug is following us throughout the tour. And you have a sliding glass door here that pockets into the wall and opens up to a nice, cozy courtyard area.
Oh, this is where your kid would fall. Is there a huge drop over here? That's kind of dangerous for kids to fall over. At least like they have a 60% chance of falling on the bed. It's kind of safe.
Back to the hallway. Look at this frame. Limestone plaster walls, hardwood floors, all these organic touches with the millwork. Before we go into the second guest suite, I want to point out we have a wine cellar here.
That was a very underwhelming wine cellar. If you have a wine cellar that's small, you don't have to point it out. That was like a luggage area.
We have one more guest suite to see. Let's go take a look at that bedroom as well, which starts here. Great natural light coming in.
I didn't see a primary on the same level. I think a lot of people like to have a primary next to the kids' bedroom. But again, I think overall having 3 bedrooms that are this size, they all have their en suites and they open up to the backyard is fantastic.
I want to take everybody outside so we can check out the grounds for a second. This is it. That's why you want to have French doors. You just flow straight to your grounds. And I'm so happy that we can interact with the grounds and spend time like this walk to the pool area, which is extremely nice.
Okay, can you spot the flaw with this pool? These steps won't allow you to do laps on a pool, and this is a total lap pool. The other element is that it's so far away from the main residence, and the elevation difference between porch and the swimming pool should have been this much to kind of elevate you a little bit above the winter snowstorms that comes in, but not like 6 stories high that like you're so far away from the nature and the grass that you're not in touch with it.
First, we got to go back to the main house again, go to the top floor so we can check out that amazing primary bedroom suite. Currently, we're at the loft area, which is technically the seating area for the primary bedroom.
Okay, so the primary bedroom is 2 levels separated from the other bedrooms. This is not ideal for families with small kids, okay?
Masonry wall, cushions here serving as your seating.
I like the library. I like the seating area. I like the fact that the primary bedroom has a loft, right? But there's a problem. At this elevation, you're not going to be able to see anyone downstairs, right? You're also going to get a lot of heat coming up. This is a very tall structure. And if you heat up downstairs, all the heat's going to come all the way to the top. To have that perfect temperature balance, right, in a space this tall and this big is going to be a nightmare.
This section is all open. Look at the natural light that comes into this space. You can look down to your seating area. Volume is fantastic. And then you come over here, they left the flue of the fireplace that's next to the dining area exposed here to give you that rustic feel. This is a really fun and a cool space.
Yeah, I love this. Just a really grand room.
Yeah, it is a very grand room, and I like the loft idea, but I feel like this whole section or this whole house, this whole structure was solely designed for the benefit of the owner. It's like it's your space, it's your creative space, and you need this large formal living space to kind of inspire you to feel good.
In fact, let's turn that way so we can check out the primary bedroom. Now, this is a really unique design. We have a barn door here.
Why is it so narrow? Why have you cornered yourself? You had all this space and you've made your primary bedroom such a narrow, tiny little room. It's like, why?
And this bed is actually on a platform. That way you can really appreciate and enjoy the views that we get on the other side. Another double-sided fireplace that also faces the primary bathroom. The other side of this barn door is plaster.
Okay, I think this picture of this gentleman over here, we saw one by the fireplace in the main living space, is the spiritual teacher guru of the owner of this property. And I'm all for this stuff. But I personally think if I decide to put a picture of Tony Robbins in our primary bedroom, my wife would freak the hell out. She'd be like, what are you doing? You take that picture off. Everything has a place. Maybe that should go into the library.
Check out the bathroom.
Let's do it.
We have the steps wrapped with metal leading you to the vanity. This one is also designed in India.
It does not look that, from Calcutta. Maybe it's Calcutta stone, but it doesn't have the hood goody putty with it,
Let's check out the walk-in shower. It's really open. Again, this curved fluted glass wall.
I like it. I have to say, like with finishes, giving the vibe in the private spaces, bedrooms, they really deliver that mix of modern and farm. This is a little bit more industrial than I would have gone for, but I would take it.
Let's go to the other side for a second. This is where we have the walk-in closet. At the end, you can see the infrared sauna.
Infrared sauna, you got to have a cold plunge, right? Like you got to set that up too. The two have to go with each other. But overall, I like the bathroom and the walk-in closet. I think it flows well together. And it's interestingly, as much as I hated the exterior elements of that silo to give it the modern farm look, on the inside it does create some really cute, interesting moments that I actually do like.
And with that, we're done with the top floor. Now, this is a beautiful home. I love the design elements and finishes, but I feel like this property is beyond this home.
Yes, this property is all about the land, and as much as they missed on the interior of the property, this land is amazing. We're going to take a quick look as far as what it offers, but I want you to notice a few things. It didn't have a family room. It didn't have a movie theater. It didn't have a game room. It didn't have a sport court. I mean, you only got that upstairs loft.
As you walk through this property, which is dozens and dozens of acres of exploration and discovery, you will come across these moments where you discover exterior living rooms that have been so immaculately considered that once you sit back in one of those chairs, all of a sudden you see an entirely different perspective of the land. And yet there's this uniting element that's the sound of this water wherever you go. So you still know where you are.
Did you guys see all those outdoor moments they have? They have like 5, 6 other ones. I've put a link to the original video. You can check it out. But if I was going to consult on this property with the owner to just help them sell the property, I think they can make a couple simple decisions to help sell this property faster. One is to create a simple driveway. They have the room for it, so you can drop off the people from the main entrance. I also strongly believe that the exterior of the building is much better than the interior of the building, and it needs to be a little bit darker on the inside to bring the character out. But the most important decision here would have been choosing the right location and not letting the sound of the river or the height and the volume of the barns dictate your main elements, right? If you want to see a massive ranch style home, click on this video. I'll see you guys in the comments. Take care.